Good morning. Good morning. First, I really wanna, cause I don't do it that often, but it has to be done. You know, I'm gonna give a big shout out, man, to my father, man, my earthly father, Vance Lamont Pittman. You know, my name is Pavel Lamont Mosley. You know, he's the one that named me. Pavel. And he is a great man, man. I don't know too many men, that has performed like he has, and still is. You know, he showed me love, man. You know, as masculine as it can be. You know, as much as Jesus taught him. Right? We're talking about a man, man, that my siblings are not all his, but he would treat them the same way. The mothers of my children, that, all of that, man. And you gotta, but just take a picture of this type of father figure, man, is teaching me. And then I'm put in a world that this is not a norm, you know. So, and of course, a lot of people will say, well, how come you came up like you came up if you talking about he is this and he is that? Well, the scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from it. Now, what that means is, first of all, the number one source of information is a parent, and it still is to this day. The censors have already showed that to this day, we are the main sources of information to our children. We think they're not hearing anything when we're talking, but they're hearing everything, So, I'm amongst people out there, and what it means is, being that we give them the information, they still have to try the information. What does this look like? They still got to go to the party that they ain't supposed to go to, and either experience somebody putting something in somebody else's drink, or putting something in somebody else's J, or something like that. And then when they experience this, because you have given them this, instantly you become even more the priority of information. So when they come asking these questions that we feel like stupid questions, what you doing asking that? Because they want your information. Okay, let's go back to my dad. Right? The reason why I'm really speaking on him and things like that is because I got to acknowledge the fact that he didn't allow me to grow up like a lot of men did. And what I mean by that is extremely emotional. That's not a man's trait. We are logical and mathematical over everything. That's what allows us to do things lovingly, wholeheartedly, like we do. Because it's simple. It's a simple task. It's math. Why wouldn't I do this for this old lady, man, that's struggling with this bag? Why wouldn't I do this for this stuff is easy. That's why it says that we're going to experience a generation, man, that lacks natural affection. That is natural. A man's view is natural. Why? Because we're made in the image of God, in his likeness. That stuff is logical. But now, a lot of us were, because of society and how things came up, You know, the man is forced out of the home, you know, and things like that, and you know, it's left to, you know, how it goes. And I realized that you know, now don't get me wrong, I went through an emotional phase, which was losing my kids, losing my child, losing my cousin, losing my best friend, and then another best friend after that. You know, I lost all of that. So all of that was conjunction all the way into the same situation, and it had me in a dark place. And you know, but what I realized, what kept me in this dark place so long, is because I had other people saying I should cater to this feeling, a feeling of something I cannot change. It's the inevitable. We're gonna die. And no, I don't get to decide who leaves, when they leave, and how they leave. I don't. But this math is math for me when I know that God is God. They say that men suffer in silence. Well, I'm here to beg the difference. That means you don't know God. If you feel like you're suffering in silence, that means you're not talking to God. See, the world, Satan is crafty about what he's doing now. The things that he's doing that'll make you feel like, or make you think. See, let me attack that too. Feelings. Feel like. The educator to be emotionally educated is this. First of all, feelings are happy, sad, mad, depressed. These are feelings. Don't confuse feelings with decisions. I felt like going this way today because something made me feel. No. You decided to go that way. There's not a feeling. You can't tell me how to feel. No, I can't tell you when to be happy or sad. But I can tell you when you're making a wrong decision. And then when you're making a decision out of emotion. Right? So those things cannot be allowed when you're dealing with the plan of God. You don't get to use your emotion for a decision. You just simply decide. How do you decide? God gave you the math. So now when I encounter men, man, that they are so emotionally high strung, it's nothing I really can do with them. We can't even really have a conversation. When you're taking your emotions and you're putting it on social media and stuff, we're not the same. I was raised by a father. My mother was present. So I have an even balance. That's how detrimental being parents is. It's a lot of us men that we're walking around, man, emotionally high strung. We're not doing the math. Think about that. Let that sit in. I'm going to keep making these until God feels different.